Hi, so as you can see, this is our Nozomi dashboard. It's currently empty, showing no traffic, no data in it at all, no protocols, links, assets, etc. at all. Now we're going to come back to this dashboard later, but for now, I just wanted to show you that. And I'm now going to fire off some traffic into this device from a live hydroelectrical plant, one of our clients. We've anonymized the data, and you'll see the traffic loading into this graph as I'm about to show you. So there you can see the traffic's loading. Remember, this is passive traffic. We're picking up on a span port, and we're doing DPI on this traffic. So right now, you can see just the IP addresses and some of the protocols that of the transactions or links you can see there. You've got IEC 104 there. Over here, you have Modbus. You can zoom in. Now, this is a fully interactive graph, as you can see, and it's loading the live data. Now the colors, you can see the meaning of the colors here. So red is master, blue is slave, green is terminal, which is the HMIs, and others. Now the others will come up eventually, the definition of what they are, as the DPI or deep packet inspection continues. So there you go. As you can see, the pink has now come up. And if I go back here to the legend, you can see that the pink, oh, there's more traffic loading there. The pink is a DNS server, right? So that should be the PI Connect. And as more traffic loads, you'll see more and more nodes pop up and connections pop up, and the data in these devices will come up. As you can now see, the DNS data has been seen, and it's given DNS names to all of these devices. So you can see the Acme PLC, which is the anonymized version of the traffic that we picked up. Now you're able to actually move this around. Like for example, here you have the CCTV network over here. You can drag this and move it around how you see fit. So it's quite an interactive diagram. If I click on one of these PLCs, for example, you can see exactly what it is. You can see that it's a Modicon M340, firmware version 2.9, slave, and it's got this many slots here, right? It's got 11 slots in total, one slot with a processor module and one slot with a discrete output module. Now, if I quickly just click here, if you want to see the vulnerabilities related to this device as well, you can see the vulnerabilities. I click here, you see it shows you the CVE numbers, and it gives you the information about the CVE and where to fix the problem. This is an update here from Schneider Electric. You can click on that, and you can see the description here. Now, I'll remind you again, this is all being picked up via deep packet inspection passively, right? All this information. Now, if you're interested in knowing exactly how your network is segmented and the subnets related to it, you can simply go over here and change to zones. And it will change the colors. Apply. It will change the colors to zones. Now, if you want to know what those colors mean, you simply click here, and it shows you that this color is ProdNet B, the light purple, if that I can call it that, is corporate, ProdNet A is green, CCTV is light green. If you want to see an overview of the zones, you can actually click on this information tab here, and you get a kind of a view of the zones here as well, and you can move them around, how the subnets are connecting to each other. By default, the zones are based upon subnets, but it's fully configurable. Just close that. Now, if you want to ensure that your network is actually air-gapped and nothing's getting through the firewalls, for example, or it's completely air-gapped, I can go up here, I can actually change the view again, or the perspective as we call it. So public nodes, I'll click here, and it will gray out everything, as you see per the legend. Everything is private except this one here. So we have a public node here, a public IP, and we have this device here connecting via HTTP up to this device. Now this is great if you want to check whether something is trying to dial out. It could be a sign of compromise on IOC, etc. Now, if you want to know, you can also change the perspective on links. If you want to know whether this link was actually firewalled, the firewall blocked it or not, you can just click here, and it will show you, yes, the firewall was blocked as per the legend here. So this is something you don't have to worry about necessarily because the firewall blocked it, but it could be a sign of something trying to dial home to a command and control center, for example. So you can also do the same with links. So for example, if I click on this IEC 104 link here, and I click the info tab here, you want to know what's going on in that IEC 104 protocol. It gives you all the statistics here and the details of the handshake, etc. But you can also actually see the function codes going across here. So it's showing you here the three function codes that have gone over that link. Now, a lot of our customers, they have an issue which is very common. They have very out of date asset inventories. So they'll have a list of assets probably printed on a form, locked away in a metal cabinet, or they'll have it in an Excel spreadsheet and it's been out of date for 5 or 10 years. They kind of just put it away and it's not maintained. So another great thing we have here is if we go to the asset view here, it gives you a list of assets and all of the details here, the firmware, etc., that you saw earlier from the graph as well. And you can select various options here about what you want to see, what kind of detail. This asset inventory or list is fully exportable into Excel or CSV file, and you can see it in the Purview model as well. So for example, if I click here on the diagram, it will show you a list of assets as per the Purview model. And both of those views, the list and the Purview model view, are quite configurable, and you can actually go drill down into detail by simply typing in, for example, if I want to see control logics here, I typed in control there, I click on that, and it's showing me a control logics PLC from Rockwell Automation, its firmware version, etc. All of the details here. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's got all of the list of the ports and what's in the port. So this one's got 3 ports, as you can see there. And again, the vulnerabilities down here, and this is a longer list of vulnerabilities here, which is great, again, for risk management, right? So you can target the vulnerabilities with the highest scores. Another problem some of our clients have is they have, for example, they have no view or no way to kind of work out or do some predictive maintenance. So if we go back to the network view, we can actually click on links and we can look at TCP retransmission. So here you can see, for example, 88.9% retransmission rate for some of these devices. Now that's great in terms of diagnosing or working out why there's such a high retransmission rate. And you can actually, I mean, SMB is you kind of expect that, but if you want to change it to, for example, Modbus, and you're seeing a 5% retransmission rate with the Modbus protocol, which is going to a PLC, that's possibly something to worry about. And it gives you an idea about potentially where you need to target some refresh in terms of PLC modules, for example. Another great thing you can do in the links tab is if you go over here, you can click on this kind of Thunderbolt symbol, and it will give you the ability to request a packet trace. You've got all the configurations here for your packet trace, and this here is a language which you can type in your own addresses as well if you want, if you don't want to trace that particular source and destination. But you can use the BPF syntax if you know what it is, if you can look it up. But you can basically filter based on whatever you want and request a PCAP file trace on that traffic, which is great for forensics, for example. Now, where we really stand out, I believe Nuzumi really stands out, is the process view. So because we're doing deep packet inspection, we really do go up right up to the top layers, right? So what we have here, I just clicked on process view here, we're showing the function codes and variables of what's being sent to the PLCs and RTUs. So if I go and click on the magnifying glass here, you should see, for example, it's showing this is the variable 65,535 and the function code 3, right? And it's giving the protocol and other details as well. If I go back, I can click on a few others. Here's a good one. So you can see the pattern here. This is the variables over a period of time. You can change the time. I mean, I've only been feeding it traffic for the last 7 or 8 minutes, but you can change the time to 1 minute, 5 minutes, etc. Or you can actually zoom in yourself right into the detail and see what's going on. Now, this is where we do our where we do our artificial intelligence and machine learning. What we do here is we baseline this behavior over a period of time. Your decision what that time is. Usually, what you believe the process cycle is for the batch processing. We baseline this behavior and the function codes related to it, and here's a list of it here, and then we will detect anomalous behavior against that. And we'll see that later in my second video, which is the attack video, where we see a process being corrupted. Going back to the variables, you can actually filter this as well. So if you want to see the flow variables, for example, type in flow there, and it'll give you some flow variables. That's a flow rate. If you want to see a pump variable, type in pump there, it'll give you pump speeds, right? This is a fully, again, like all of our views, you can really filter it down to what you want to see. And lastly, in this visibility video, I'm just going to show you the dashboard quickly. Now, as you can see now, I showed you previously the dashboard is empty. Now it's got all of this information in here and shown in different ways. Now this is just one dashboard, right? We have a number of dashboards. This is the overview one. We have the stats one as well. over here, showing you various statistics on the protocols and function codes. This is again great for a master control room or central control room or a MSSP or SOC, right? So if you're managing your own SOC or you're an MSSP, you can use these various different types of dashboards we have here to show statistics on your screens. And all of these are configurable kind of widgets. You can change them, you can adjust them, etc. We have a NERC SIP one here as well, giving some statistics for NERC SIP.